Hey everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Everybody, meet Frank. Frank is a 1956 International S100 pickup truck that's sitting on a custom-built 1976 Dodge D100 two-wheel drive chassis that's been shortened 30 to 36 inches to make it fit the wheelbase of the International. It's got a Dodge 360 that's been built and overboard 30,000s, made it up to a Torque Flight 727 transmission and a transfer case that came out of a Dodge four-wheel drive truck. Now you're asking yourself, if it's a two-wheel drive truck, why does it have a transfer case? Good question. The old timer that I got it from was originally building this to go to Bonneville, so it's got some super long legs in the rear end for gears. So he put the transfer case in to give him a high-low range so he could have some lower gears for just kind of regular driving, and then he could put it in a high range once he got out to Bonneville. Truth be told, I haven't even heard it run. I'm assuming with those huge side pipes on this thing, it is just going to be astronomically loud. We tried to start it when I went to pick it up. I didn't care if it ran or not. The price was right for the body and chassis that it was going to be good enough. The body is solid. We'll do a walk around here in a little bit, but the body was so solid that even if it didn't run, the motor was locked up. I have a motor and a transmission on a stand that I have options I could put in if I needed to. It cranked over, I heard it pop and fire for about 1.3 seconds, and then the battery was just shot. We couldn't crank it over anymore, but like I said, I didn't care whether it started or not. Now I've put a new battery in it and some new connectors on it because the connectors were also just shot and corroded, and I don't think it's getting full battery power and ground to the starter and ignition. But like I said, I honestly haven't even heard if it runs. He said he had it running that morning before I picked it up. I have no reason to doubt that he did not have it running. Like I said, when he first cranked it, I heard it fire, so I know it has fire to it. So it's got ignition, the starter cranks the engine over, it's not seized. And it seems like it's getting fuel. I can see when you pump the carburetor, you can see the squirt fuel into it. So it's the old engine where as long as you got fuel, spark, and compression, it'll run. I think it probably just needs new plugs because I think they are just nasty. I pulled one out and it looked richer than Jeff Bezos. So I've got some new plugs to put in it, and we will try to fire it up here in a little bit just to see. But I'll get you off the stand. We'll do a quick little walk around so you can kind of see what it is we're dealing with, and then we'll go over what my plans are with this. All right, well, we've got some new plugs in it, and yeah, as I thought, I mean, we'll see if there's a focus on these. I mean, these things were running super, super rich. They are just black. So we got some new ones in it. So now I threw the jump box on it just because, like I said, the battery cables are so bad. I don't think it's getting full power up here. It just cranks over super slow. So I put the jump box on it. We're gonna hit the switch for the fuel pump, turn the key on. I got the little freaking push button here. Let's see what happens. All right, well, it runs. We heard it. Sounds pretty decent. It's honestly not near as loud as I thought it was going to be. Now, I didn't let it run very long because, like I said, I don't know any condition of this motor. The electric fans are wired to a toggle switch that go to nothing, so the fans aren't going to come on. Is it building oil pressure? Or 5 pounds oil pressure? 50 pounds? I have no idea. There's no gauges inside the truck at all. There's just some wiring where we used to go to gauges. So all I want to do is just get it running, just to hear it run. And we're going to throw it up on the lift so I can do an oil change on it, just to be able to check the oil, see if there's any metal flakes in it, any contaminants. It smells like there's a lot of gas in the oil, but I want to at least get that changed out, get a new filter put on it, take a peek under, find somewhere to put in just a cheap oil pressure gauge, just to be able to check it, fire it back up and see what the oil pressure is, to get a little sense of what the condition of the motor is before we go too much further into this. And then we didn't do the walk around because it's in the lift right now. It'd be easier to do the full walk around once I get it out of the lift where we got a little more space. But while it's in the lift, we're going to get it up, get underneath of it, and we'll all take a peek and see what the condition of the chassis is, how it was cut apart, re-welded back together, and what the underside looks like. I mean, maybe there's been a whole bunch of repairs that have been pieced together that we know nothing about. So, all right, let's get to it. All right, let's get underneath here and take a peek, see what we got. I mean, we got, looks like probably rear main seal leak in there. We got a little bit of oil all over the pan coming down. Cross member looks fairly clean. I mean, a little bit of rust on it, but it's actually not bad. All in all, from what I can see so far, that's where the frame right there was cut and welded back together. Did a frame-in-frame gusset. But if you look at the frame itself, I mean, it is actually really, really clean. It's actually way cleaner than I thought. I was going to want to get in here and wire wheel it, put some 415 or something on it, but honestly, it's not bad. We got this blinding wire, poke you right in the face right there. I've deleted the hanger. Differential looks like it's got a little leak to it. But the frame itself, the frame rails, they are actually really, really clean. Another eye poking wire right there, and another one hanging down right there. Here's the other side of the other frame. The other gusset. And obviously we got a seal leaking out of the transfer case there. But all in all, honestly, I'm happy with it. It's way, way better than I thought it was going to be. Now I can see the original reason. Let me get over here. They cut the bed out and put a wood deck in. Is just what I thought, for that cross member to make clearance. It would have hit the old bed. The old bed wouldn't have sat on it properly, so you had to cut it out. As you can see right there, to get it to fit up in there, for where the frame rails go up in, they're almost touching the wood deck now. So if they've been on the steel, and the wood deck sitting about 3 inches above the original bed where that was at. So that's why you had to cut it out, which makes sense. But here's the back of it. I mean, it's, like I said, once again, it is really, really clean. It'll be really easy to wire wheel this, put some 415 on it, call it a day. All right, so what's the plan? Do new wheels and tires, upgrade the brakes in the rear from drums to discs, try to address the gearing situation that we've got in here, from get rid of the Bonneville gearing to a more of a streetable setup. Simple rebuild on the motor. Take it apart and inspect it. If everything's good, new rings, bearings, back together. I want to take the carburetor and change that to a fuel injection system, and then take the old Dodge ignition system off of it and upgrade that to something that's newer and better. We need to completely rewire the truck because the wiring is just horrendous. There's cut wires and dangling wires and switches that go nowhere. As far as paint and body go, leave it mostly as is. We're going to clean up the surface rust on it and address a few little dents and dings that are here and there, like in the new grill, there's a couple of dents I wanna knock out. But other than that, leave it as is, just clean up the surface rust, seal it, call it good. We're gonna replace all of the flat glass that's in it and then clean up the interior with some new carpet, headliner, a little bit of soundproofing, and then some gauges and obviously the wiring in the dash also. Other than that, that's about it. If you were hoping I was gonna say it's gonna be a 427 big block triple blower setup with nitrous, it's not gonna happen. I don't have the budget for that. But all in all, I think it's gonna be a fun project. I think it's gonna be a fun build, and I hope you follow along. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll try to answer all questions that come in. And I've never done a project like this. So if you've got some ideas or suggestions, I'm open to suggestions and new ideas. Leave that down below also. Other than that, I hope you subscribe to the channel to follow along with this build. All right, have a great day.